It was an ordinary Saturday afternoon at the bustling city mall. Shoppers moved like waves, voices overlapped in chatter and sales pitches, music floated softly from hidden speakers. But in the midst of the crowd, time slowed. Bintu was a charming and beautiful girl. Calm, gentle, and very respectful girl. She walked into a supermarket and blew the mind of the supermarket manager away, and he wasted no time in asking her for her phone number. They became friendly with mutual secrets for a brewing romantic relationship. They got talking and chatting on the phone regularly, and their relationship became obvious after one dinner outing the following weekend. 2 days after their dinner outing, the manager was so happy to welcome her into the supermarket. He walked up to her with a smile, but she was cold. It wasn't just a love fantasy, but a double-digit decade-old wall that he just hit for a crack. Tony wasn't ready for what was coming, but he was a handmade tool of fate that had just been used. She looked at him strangely and spoke to him with disgust. He felt so bad as she left the supermarket and practically ignoring him. He wondered why and how a girl he spoke pleasantly with that same morning could just switched mood. But Tony had actually stepped onto something big. For days later, he watched with disbelief as she came into the supermarket, smiling and looking very lively. She went straight to him and gave him a hug. He was confused and was not sure how to handle the situation. He was still wondering what to do when she became uncomfortable with his withdrawal and left, leaving him confused. One day she was all friendly and lovely, and the next day, she became cold and strangely unfriendly. The pattern continued, and Tony stopped calling her and decided to give her some time. One day, when she came in to pick a few things and barely looking at him, he went to her and said, "Bintu, what is going on?" She was shocked and turned to him. "How do you know my name?" she asked, and he became confused on why she asked him such a question. "Anyway, my name is Binta, not Bintu," she said and walked away. The next time he saw her, she got into the place and picked a few toiletries. After making payment at the cashier, she went straight to the manager's section and said calmly, "Tony, hi, I honestly don't understand you. Do you know that you are so strange? I honestly don't know the game that you are playing with me, Binta. I am so confused right now," he said. "By the way, my name is Bintu, not Binta," she said calmly. "You see what I was talking about? Just 3 days ago, you corrected me and told me that your name was Binta, and not Bintu." "Yes, you told me that your name was Binta," he said, and was almost raising his voice. And right then, a girl walked up to them and stood behind Bintu. She was making payment at the cashier when she heard her name. She would have ignored him as usual, but her attention was attracted because he was actually talking to a different girl. She decided that it was her chance to ridicule him, at the very least she could do. She moved casually and majestically to them and stood behind Bintu, with a mocking smile on her face. But little did she know, her presence was not just the solution to a cryptic puzzle in a portal of fate that was begging to be unveiled, but also a call of fate to a dance with the truth. Tony's eyes were fixed on her with a frightening stare. He wasn't looking at Bintu anymore, but he was staring dumbfounded at her second self that was standing right behind her. The truth was revealed, and he understood his confusion. Still, he was gripped with fear for such a striking resemblance in every ramification. They were two different people, but how on earth could two people resemble each other that much, to the minimal detail? He stood speechless, staring at Binta. Just when he started consoling himself that they could be twins, Binta said to him, "Tony, I was not here 3 days ago. I wasn't even in Lagos," Binta was saying, and Tony, who remained transfixed, was still staring at Binta. "Haven't you stared enough? You should respect the lady standing in front of you. By the way, do you always get confused with girls, or your village people got you confused with the ones you're interested in?" Binta asked mockingly. Binta turned to see who was talking, and when they locked eyes, they saw a carbon copy of each other. The naturally loud Binta, who still had so much in her arsenal to unleash at Tony, got short of words and left her open mouth hanging and struggling to swallow her words and got transfixed to a different mood entirely. Two strangers, identical. As if struck by lightning, their eyes locked, wide with shock, confusion, and an unspoken recognition that pierced deeper than logic could explain. Their expressions mirrored each other perfectly, lips slightly parted, brows furrowed, bodies frozen mid-step. It was like looking into a living, breathing mirror, except neither had ever seen the other before. Bintu, who initially intended to have a quick glance at whoever was talking behind her, was forced to gently turn fully and face questioningly the person that was standing right there before her. They both stared at each other. Two women. Age 23. Same almond-shaped eyes. Same high cheekbones. Same mole just beneath the left eye. How they tilted their heads slightly to the left when surprised, how their fingers curled near their chests when unsure. My God. Please, who are you? Bintu asked distantly with a mind that was heavy with different thoughts, all at the same time. A hush seemed to fall around them. The noise of the mall faded into the background, as if the universe itself held its breath. I don't think I need to answer you, nor ask you who you are, because I am very sure that you must have been me, in your past life, Binta said calmly and slowly. Just then, Tony held Bintu on her shoulder and said to her, Bintu, she is Binta. She has been the reason for my headache all these days and the attitude that I have been giving to you, Tony said. Binta? Your name is Binta. Why? I mean, how come? Bintu questioned stupidly while wondering. Thank God, it was only headache that you were having then, because this is worse than fever right now, Binta said sarcastically. A woman pushing a stroller glanced between the two and did a double take, whispering, Are they twins? Neither of them answered, because they didn't know and the possibility was far from their imagination. Bintu was scared. Not just for a possible impersonation by the mystery stranger in front of her, but a hunting spirit, hovering around her. Or maybe, something deeper and more dangerous. But the air between them buzzed with something ancient and undeniable. Something buried in blood, in DNA, in the cries of two infants once torn apart by fate. This can't be real, Bintu was still dazed. The other, with trembling lips, replied, Who are you? And in that electric silence, a story 23 years in the making began to unfold, with secrets to unravel, a bond to rediscover, and a destiny that neither of them ever saw coming. Binta remained perplexed when she got home. She wondered what was happening as she wasn't sure of what to think. She won't even tell her parent what she just saw, and she was still gripped with fear of the unknown. She stood in front of her dressing mirror for about half an hour to re-examine her physical attributes, that stubbornly stood no chance of contrast from the mysterious girl she just saw. Everything was the same. What if that girl was her impersonator? She thought to herself, while indulging in a thoroughly critical examination of her physical endowment. By the following day, she made her way at about the same time to the mall to find out from Tony, when Binta was likely to be there again. She felt she needed to see her and get her to give her some answers to some of her compounding questions. But little did she know that Binta was already there at the mall for the same reason. The moment Binta sighted her, she moved swiftly to her and met her at the entrance. Hey, I came here because of you. I want to know if you are my spirit or my ghost. Well, I guess it will mean that someone is dead. Even know if you are me or I am you, or maybe I am just talking to myself right now. So can we talk? She asked. That is why I am here, Binta responded. Fine. After you, Binta directed, and they found a spot under a tree beside the shopping mall. I still want to know why your name is Binta. Bintu opened the conversation. But before Binta could respond, her phone started ringing and her father urged her to return home immediately for an emergency. The moment she ended the call, Binta said, "My dad had always told me that he named me after his favorite character in an ancient soap opera." "Well, not so ancient, but old enough since I was born," Binta informed. "Just that? An ancient TV series? If I understand you well. Your name came from an ancient TV program, when you were born. Meaning that you are ancient, yet you called me your ghost from the past?" Bintu said reasonably. "I don't like people making funny insinuations," Binta said. "Listen, we need to do this some other time. My dad just called me. He needs my attention at home right now," Bintu informed. "Okay, Daddy's girl, let's go," Binta said. "Go where?" Bintu asked. "To your house. I need to know my enemies and where they stay." "I like the way things are unfolding," Binta said. But Binta didn't like the idea, and she was not sure that she was open to such a friendship or getting her into her private space. But she was sure that Binta will not take no for an answer. Somehow, she agreed that it was going to give her the opportunity to get the answers that she needed. In his 2-bedroom apartment where God has blessed his happy family with peace, harmony and prosperity, Mr. Dogera sat with his wife, Hanitu, discussing village matters. He has been doing very well with his wife and 3 children and prosperous in his endeavors. A recent development in their village got them discussing. The door knob turned and pushed but remained locked. Hanitu hurried to the door and unlocked the door. Bintu walked inside, greeting her mother respectfully. Hanitu opened her mouth to answer her greeting, but her words got froze in her throat. Fear gripped her and a generous supply of goose pimples showered all over her. Her heart pounded, her stomach leaped and growled that she almost felt embarrassed. A sense of knowing and familiarity flashed through her mind. Her breath struggled for a steady pace. Her opened mouth that was accompanied by a frightened questioning stare was all that Binta could get for an answer to her greeting. But she understood the shock and calmly followed Bintu into the house. Mr. Durara stood up to his feet to have a good look at what had followed her daughter into their home. After a brief stare that ignored greetings, he looked at his daughter Bintu and asked, "Are you okay? Is everything all right with you?" "Yes, Dad, I am fine," she responded. "Who is she?" Dogera asked. "Dad, I honestly don't know, but I will find out," Bintu said and turned to Binta. "Binta, meet my parent, my dad and my mom." "Dad, meet Binta." "Sorry, we were on the verge of finding out who we really are from each other when you called and asked me to come home, and she insisted that she won't let me go until we talked. That was why she followed me home," Bintu informed her dad. "Did you call her Binta?" Dogera asked. "That's right, more like names for identical twins, but for all I know, I came out of my mother's womb all alone," Binta said. "Dad, I know that I am not a twin, so let's clear that part aside and talk about more mysteries," Binta said dismissively. "Young girl. Where are you from?" Dogera asked. "I am from Minchika, in Adamawa State," Binta responded, and Dogera sank back into his seat with both palms covering his face, his heart pounding. Hanitu had since remained at the entrance door in her shock. She slowly took one step at a time and stood before Dogera. "You told me that she was dead," Hanitu said. Dogera slowly raised up his head and looked with tear-filled eyes at Binta. "Young girl, what is your surname?" he asked. "I don't understand where this whole drama is heading to. My surname is Dangwa. And my name is Binta, not young girl." "Binta, please," Binta informed with a confident sense of pride. Not rude but self-pride. "Kabaru Dangwa," Dogera said retrospectively. "Oh. I didn't realize that you know my father," Binta said quietly, almost as if she was talking to herself. "You told me that the baby died at birth," Hanitu, who was still dazed with a shocking revelation, asked in a voice that was half sobbing. "Dad, what is going on here? What child?" Who died? I mean, what are you people talking about? How did you know her father? Bintu was curious. He paid me 30,000 naira and I gave him the second twin child. Dogera confessed, and Hannatu fell onto the couch and cried out loud. Dogera moved closer to her and consoled his crying wife. It all started 23 years ago. Dangwa was a successful businessman in the city of Lagos. He was a registered contractor with the state government. He had his hands in diabolical sacrifices in the past and consequently couldn't impregnate a woman. He has traveled to his hometown to adopt a child. But unfortunately he didn't get an infant as he had wished. He went to the neighboring town and a friend invited him to a maternity hospital where he met with Dogera. A certain nurse introduced him to Dogera. Dogera was a young cobbler that roams the street for a cobbling job. He was married to Hannatu, who became pregnant and was already in labor at the maternity hospital. She was expecting a twins, but Dogera was financially handicapped. He only struggled to raise enough money to transport them to the hospital when her labor started. He certainly did not have any money for her hospital bills, and the hospital needed a deposit before they could attend to his wife. Dogera sat on the ground that late afternoon, folded himself to himself and completely submitted to hopelessness, looking sympathetic. A middle-aged female nurse that had earlier sympathized with him walked up to him with a man called Kabra Dangwa. Dogera was secretly convinced to sell off one of the expected twins and leave everything to God. He was lucky to have twins. And maybe, just maybe, it was the will of God that things were happening the way they did. Dogera eventually accepted and they negotiated a deal for the sale. 22 years later, the beautiful child that grew up with Dogera, her father, who was named Bintu, had grown to become a gorgeously beautiful young woman. Dogera's fortune had changed. He found his way to Lagos 18 years after the birth of Bintu and quickly found a security job within the Yaba market area. He was very nice and helpful to some of his tribal men within that worked at Bureau de Change within the market area. Eventually, they taught him the trade and showed him the way. Within 2 years, he was already making reasonable profit and got so grounded and very good in the trade. Dogera later got his family relocated to Lagos and his fortune had even multiplied. Unknown to him, Kabra Dangwa and the sole daughter, Binta, were living in the same area within 1 kilometer apart from each other. The spirit of twins, the bond from the womb, the power and thickness of the blood in their veins, the guidance of fate, pulled them back to one place, one shopping mall, one object of love attraction. Tony. And now they met in a reunion that was best fit for a sweet and interesting tale. Now, back to present day and the interesting scene of revelation. The two girls stole questioning glances at each other while they watched Dogera and Hannatu. We didn't have a dime, and you were in serious labor, but they refused to attend to you. They insisted that some money must be deposited before they would attend to you. You were in pains and there was nothing I could do then. I didn't want anything to happen to you and the babies. Dogera explained. With all this drama taking place right here, you are making me to understand. Sorry, excuse me, you are forcing me to think that you are my biological parent. And as if that is not enough for a folktale, the most ridiculously stupid thing to hear you say is that I was sold for mere 30,000 naira. So, the whole of me is only worth 30,000 naira to you, Binta said. 30,000 naira 20 years ago is worth millions today, Dogera responded amidst sobbing. Then he turned to Bintu. Bintu, she is your sister, your twin sister. She was not dead. I am sorry. I don't care what 20 years ago was worth, Binta retorted. I am not ancient. For now, I have some revelations to be unveiled at home. And if any of this turns out to be true, then I am coming back for an explanation on why I was only worth 30,000 naira to you. And you are still referring to me as younger sister if you claim that we are twins. Are twins not born on the same day? Binta said and stormed out of the house to confront her parents back at home. Please subscribe and stay tuned for the second part and action-loaded part of this story. You can relax and watch other interesting videos on this channel. Stay blessed.